The median starting salary in America is now $61,871, but that is only half of all college grads. 9% are only working part-time, and 11% end up unemployed within 6 months of graduation. In December of 2023, the National Association of Colleges and Employers released 9 years of salary outcome data for students launching into the professional workforce. Everything from salaries broken down by demographic, unemployment rates by college major, where in the country people are hiring, and so much more is written in this report. This report studied 890,000 college students across 344 institutions in America, and has become the most reliable data set that we have on how much money people are making in the current job market. Now, obviously there are some limitations on this. For example, it is virtually impossible at scale to really understand the economy or the job market. You can't predict the future. You can really just glean insights about the recent past and kind of know what's going on right now. And so as a result of this, some of the best data that we have on salary outcomes comes from the end of 2022. So there is a 12-month gap between that data and today. However, there is some really good information here that you cannot get more reliably anywhere else. So as somebody who has been researching and teaching about the job market since 2018, I am excited to both get myself up to date and informed, as well as to help all of you understand where the job market is sitting today. So buckle in because we have a lot to break down, and also be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel. That way we can be fully ready to move forward into this data. Okay, so the median starting salary in America right now is currently sitting at $61,871 per year, which equals about $4,000 in monthly take-home pay, depending on your state taxes and other types of standard deductions like insurance. Now, broken down by gender, men are starting at $69,000 per year, while women are starting at $59,000. There is a disparity there, and you will also notice that men make up the majority of graduates who are going to the military, doing freelance work and entrepreneurship, while women are making up a much bigger percentage of the people going to graduate school. Unemployment is about the same for both groups. By ethnicity, you'll notice that it's actually mostly the same across the board, with a few notable exceptions. White, Black, Hispanic, and Pacific Islander students are all starting around the $60K mark, while Native American students are sitting much further behind at $52,000. Asian Americans are starting much higher at $78,000, and international students are starting even higher than that at $88,000 per year. Regionally, there is about a $16,000 disparity depending on where you live, with the Mid-Atlantic having some of the highest salaries at $69,000, and the Plains region having some of the lowest at $53,000. So this mostly has to do with big cities. You'll notice that other densely urban states like Washington, Oregon, Hawaii, California, and Nevada are all sitting much closer to that upper end at $67,000. Now, we are going to go ahead and look at salaries by college major here in a bit, but I really do want to start diving into this report and start giving you some of the important key trends and takeaways. Let's talk market trends. So it looks like job outcomes for college graduates have returned back to pre-pandemic levels. 2019 had some of the lowest rates of unemployment that we had ever seen in America, which unfortunately was decimated in 2020. But things do appear to be on the up and up, with about 2/3 of college graduates launching into full-time professional employment, which admittedly has been pretty normal throughout my career. Now, even though starting salaries are rising, this has been offset by inflation. At least for bachelor's degree holders, salaries only went up 5.1% by the end of 2020, which did not match the 6.5% inflation rate. And as we know, inflation continued to skyrocket in 2023. So even though we don't have a direct comparison yet going into 2024, it is pretty safe to say that buying power is down for people entering the professional job market today, which is an unfortunate trend that that we've been seeing for decades now and isn't necessarily just a result of the pandemic. And then finally, like was mentioned before, gender pay disparity does continue to persist in America. This is very multifaceted and not something that we necessarily have time to get into in this video, but the numbers are there to kind of verify this trend. What I do think will be interesting is to see how this is impacted by broader trends in higher education. We do know at a statistical level that people who go to college earn more overall than people who don't go to college, both immediately after school and across the long run of your career. And we have also been seeing men specifically vanish from colleges at an alarming rate, which again is not something that we have time to get into in this video, but is interesting to keep in mind moving forward, especially as a lot of women start to both enter and finish college at rates higher than men, and they start to get more advanced degrees. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out in kind of broader starting salaries as it relates to economic and demographic trends. Now, all that being said, what you earn obviously has a lot to do with what your job is. Crazy, I know. This data does give us starting salary outcomes from different categories of majors, but I do want to address some of the confounders here. The first is that high salaries really tend to correlate with having a degree that's named after a specific job, like engineer, accountant, etc. It is estimated that about 3/4 of jobs in the professional market do not care about what you studied. So for people who have a degree that isn't named after a job, like communications, there is oftentimes a massive disparity between what those graduates are earning because their earning potential is based off the career that they go into, more so than it is the degree itself. There are also some circumstances here that really drive down some of the averages. The liberal arts, for example, are being heavily dragged down by people going on to grad school. Most master's students are either on some type of assistantship or they're doing part-time work while going to grad school, and neither of those situations pay well. So while plenty of liberal arts grads do go on to earn a lot of money 5, 10, 15 years after graduation, they are not earning very much immediately after school. Also, fields like education are very specifically being dragged down by elementary school teaching and support staff, which unfortunately neither groups are compensated very well anywhere in America. However, many high school teachers across the US are actually starting in the $50,000 to $60,000 range in many counties and states across the country. And these people have insanely high earning potentials if they go on to earn advanced degrees. So a kind of counterintuitive trend that we've been seeing in higher education is that a lot of students with secondary education degrees specifically are going on to be some of the highest compensated students straight out of college. So definitely look at all this data about salaries by major, but take it with a massive grain of salt. The real value of this information is to make sure that you are getting paid a fair market rate based off of what you studied, what career you're going into, and where in the country you live. These numbers are also coming from people who graduated into full-time employment at all. So I would highly encourage you to dive into this data yourself and use it as one piece of your overall strategy to launch into the professional job market. I'm going to keep making content about things like the hidden job market, about how to launch into the middle class, so definitely be sure to like and subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next video.